Vice President Harris and her allies are making a last-ditch effort to peel off Republican support from former President Trump in the final days before the election. Harris rallied with a number of her prominent Republican supporters in battleground Pennsylvania this week, telling the party's voters that there's, quote, a place for you in this campaign. During the same trip, Harris took part in her first sit-down interview with Fox News, a cable network with a sizable right-leaning audience. Meanwhile, Republican voters against Trump and the FF PAC launched an 8-figure ad buy, hitting the former president in key swing states. The effort comes as the Trump and Harris campaigns seek to reach out to voters outside of their traditional constituencies in an effort to close the margins and make up for ground lost among other groups. For Harris, this seems to be taking place with Black and Hispanic voters, particularly Black and Hispanic men. A New York Times Siena College poll of likely Black voters released last week showed Harris was 78% support among Black voters, while 15% said they supported Trump. Former President Biden, by contrast, won 90% of Black voters, and Trump won 9% back in 2020. Among Black men, the poll showed Trump receiving 20% of likely Black male voters, while Harris received 70% support. The same New York Times Siena College poll of likely Hispanic voters showed Harris leading with 56% of the voting bloc, while Trump trailed at 37%. According to 2020 exit polls, Biden won 65% of the Latino voting bloc, while Trump carried 32%. Among likely Hispanic male voters, according to the New York Times and Siena College, Harris carried 48% support, and Trump carried 45%. But many of Harris's allies say winning roughly 10% of GOP voters could potentially offset an underperformance in other parts of her base. According to the New York Times Siena College poll, 9% of Republicans said they would vote for Harris, up from 5% in September. Still, the polls showed former President Trump with 89% support among Republicans and Harris with 96% support among Democrats. On top of that, many of Trump's supporters and other Republicans are skeptical that Harris will be able to peel off enough Republican support to make a meaningful difference in the final election results.